I just want to give you a warning before you sit down to listen to this. I am not discussing what I'm about to discuss as a way of putting anyone down or trying to make you feel bad about yourself. However, the reason why I see so many women struggle with love is because of this, and that is they are too needy. So, welcome to Christianish. This is the podcast for women who have Bibles but don't necessarily have boundaries. My name is Keshia Rice. I'm a dating coach. I'm a hypnotherapist. I help women learn how to break free from those unhealthy relationship patterns and finally learn to love themselves more, learn to call in more love, and attract healthy, satisfying relationships. And we are going to talk about the fact that needy energy always repels, while receptive energy attracts. And we're going to talk about that from both the psychological perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective as well. You've probably noticed this before, that whenever you are in a really anxious place, especially when it comes to dating, that the more you check your phone, the more you wonder why he hasn't texted back, the more you're trying to figure out what's wrong, the more distant that man becomes. And if you've noticed that, I want you to know that it is not in your head. It is energy. And you know this in your deepest of hearts, right? Like, you've heard the saying before that a watch pot never boils. And probably in your childhood, when you were first learning to cook, you did things like step away from that pot of boiling pasta in hopes that it would start boiling sooner, right? Or, you were waiting for a TV show to come on or something. Well, nowadays, if you're Gen Z, you probably grew up with streaming. But those of us who are millennials, you're waiting for, a certain time. Like, a lot of the good TV shows on weeknights start at 8 o'clock, right? So you would do everything you could around like between the hours of 6 and 8 to avoid looking at the clock, in hopes that it would make 8 o'clock come sooner. And that is because we know, again, in our hearts, that needy energy always drains. And when it comes to dating, that needy energy, it drains him and it drains you too. Because when you are operating from a place of need, you're not grounded in peace. You are trying to use external validation to fill an internal hole. Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says not to be anxious for anything, but in every situation, by prayer, by petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. So, back to that whole idea of trying to use external validation to seek an internal void. This is why it is so important that we have to be fulfilled within ourselves first. This is why it is so important that we ground ourselves in our faith, right? Because we're invited to take our needs to God first and connect ourselves to that source energy. Because once you have that connection, you're not chasing all of these other external things trying to fill your life, right? You're not chasing money, you're not chasing fame, you're not chasing clout, and you're not chasing a man. And I want to be clear on that because it's not that these things are bad things. I truly believe that God wants us to live an abundant life, right? So that includes having the money to fulfill your needs, having a career that is fulfilling, and yes, having a great, healthy relationship. I believe in marriage. I've said it before. My parents have been married for more than 40 years. I am married myself. I believe in the value of having a great partner. But these things are supposed to add to an already great foundation that you've built for yourself. And then once you have that foundation, then you can be in this receptive energy where you are ready to receive more things. You're already provided for, you're already loved, you're already secure, and you're just ready to receive more of it. You're ready to receive more love, more abundance, more protection. Instead, when you are moving from a place that is needy, you start to act like a child emotionally. Because think about it, children cannot do very much for themselves. They are highly dependent on the adults in their life. And because of that, they are constantly looking towards their guardians, their parents, to soothe them, to take care of them, to reassure them that everything is going to be okay. When you reach a certain level of emotional maturity, when you reach a certain level of feminine maturity, you are able to self-parent. You are able to recognize that the reason why you are being so needy in your dealings with men is because it's not you. It is the little girl version of you that is crying for attention. And instead of allowing her to wild out and keep demanding that from a man, you have to take the time to reparent her. You have to take the time to comfort her and let her know that, hey, you are safe, you are loved, and God's got you, and you are good no matter what. When you truly believe that the Lord is your shepherd and that you lack nothing, then you radiate peace. And that peace is so attractive, right? That peace, people want to be around that. People want to know more about that. People want to be in that energy. And that is what allows you to receive. Men are drawn to women who easily receive and who are comfortable receiving, who are able to just allow good things to come to them instead of constantly chasing and begging for it. Instead of you auditioning for the role of, I was going to say wife, but some of y'all are out here even lower than that. You're auditioning for girlfriend, which is trash, by the way. But instead of auditioning for a man, another human being, you need to be at peace. You need to be open, and you need to firmly believe that good things and right things will come to you, including, the right relationship. I actually had this experience today, and I'm going to try not to go into too much detail in case the woman in question hears this. But I had an experience today where there's a woman who provides a service, and she came to me offering her business card and everything. And first of all, just the way she offered said service was a little bit of an insult. Like, I guess if she made me feel bad about myself, I would be more likely to buy it, I guess. But also just the way that she was just so pushy with it. I kind of I don't know. I kind of felt like there must be something wrong with how she provides the service, right? Like after I had the encounter with her, it's funny because first of all, I was caught off guard by the slick insult that she gave me, but also like I thought about it later on in the day, and I was like, she's actually kind of right. I do need to do this thing, right? I do need to actually find someone to do this service for me. But I decided, because she was so pushy about it and I just didn't like her energy, that now I'm paying a fair amount of money for the service, but I went online and found somebody else, right? Because I just didn't trust her, because I was like, if she's so pushy about this, like maybe she just doesn't have a lot of business. And if other people don't want to use her, then because she doesn't have a lot of business, then why would I want to go to her? And it's the same thing with romantic relationships. You could, in theory, be the most beautiful woman in the world, the most kind-hearted, the smartest, all of that. But if you are walking around with a sign on your forehead that says, "Please pick me," then every man you encounter is going to back away, because you're coming from a place of lack, and it's going to make them wonder, what is it that's truly wrong with her? The good news is you can shift that, right? This is one of the things that I help my clients with when it comes to our working one-on-one, is learning how to put the pieces together in your life so that you have built that foundation of, you have this beautiful life, you're at peace, you have freed yourself from, again, the toxic patterns of your past. And now you're in a place where you no longer want a man. You desire someone who can come and add to your already beautiful life, but there's no desperation, and you're just ready for it. And now that you're ready for it, you've created this environment where, again, you're more attractive, and where God can do his work in that environment, because he knows that you're going to honor and respect this relationship without making it a God, right? Without putting it on a pedestal, without putting this man before everything else. So when you are able to get to that point where you are no longer anxious over relationships, you're going to be so much more magnetic. You're going to be more present when you go out on dates, which is also going to make you more discerning. So you will have better relationships because you will have an easier time letting go of the trash and leaning in towards the good men. You will be present, you'll listen, you'll be able to say thank you instead of, well, finally. You'll be able to come from a place of genuine gratitude of feminine presence and not from a place of constantly begging for more and more validation. Negative energy, needy energy, it repels because it comes from a place of fear. Whereas when you have receptive energy, that attracts because it is rooted in a place of faith. Remember, anything that is meant for you, you are never going to have to chase it. You just need to learn how to be open to receive it. So, if you need help with learning how to create that openness, I would love to partner with you and help you with that. You can schedule a call with me and talk about what working together in coaching looks like. There will be a link in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast, or in the description if you are coming to me from YouTube. And in the meantime, if this spoke to you, there's probably another woman in your life who also needs this reminder. So remember, sharing is caring. Send this to her and talk together. Keep each other accountable to living in the present and learning to receive. So I will talk to you soon. I love you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of that. And I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Contessa Digital.